This is about divine manifestations, an answer to a question that goes as follows. Someone asked me, I understand the logic of why God cannot be plural and does not change, except for how the Bible speaks of him appearing to people. If God is truly incorporeal, without physical form or subject to time-space, why does the Bible speak of him coming to certain prophets in the form of a man? This is a very important question. A critical principle to always remember is that the Torah, the law of Moses, or the Bible in general, speaks in the language of men. This is a teaching of the sages of Israel, the people of Moses' court. Because the Almighty is absolutely unlike anything in creation, it is therefore impossible for us to refer to him in any way at all unless we make use of metaphors, homonyms, and idioms based upon the things we commonly see and experience in the realm of creation that we live in. So, on the one hand, while it is true that nothing is comparable to the Creator, we must make comparisons to things in creation in order to ever refer to him. Keeping in mind, however, that these are all imperfect and actually don't touch on the essence of his being whatsoever. Heaven forbid that we should forget for a moment that in reality no comparison is truly applicable to him. We are limited as human beings to speech, which itself is subject to time and space. No metaphor and no vision ever touch a speck of his unimaginable exaltedness. Notice, I am not even able to convey the thought concerning his incorporeality without using corporeal terms of physical things and metaphors. I said speck. You could also speak of aspect of his unity, but this also would refer to a part, so to speak. Concerning appearances of God to prophets and others in the Bible, keep three things in mind. 1. The term Elohim, which is most often used in reference to the Creator in the Bible, does not mean divinity like the word God in English is commonly understood to. The word Elohim implies power and authority. This word is sometimes used in reference to even angels, idols, judges, and powerful human beings. Sometimes the Bible may use the term Elohim without intending to refer to the Creator at all. In the same place, the translators of Bible versions you may often use may have chosen to translate it in English as God for any various reason, when it may actually be able to have translated or be understood as referring to something other than the divinity which created the world we know. Sometimes even special names of the Creator are used in the personal names of human beings or titles of human beings as a way of honoring the Creator, not as a reference to that human being who carries the name. Check to see if the passage that you may think refers to the Creator as becoming physical is possibly referring to someone else, simply with the term Elohim. The second of the three things that you should keep in mind when coming across these types of places in the Bible is that some places in the Bible may seem to be conveying that the Almighty appeared to someone as a human being, but then in another place in the Bible it refers to the same incident as having occurred in a vision. A vision is not physical reality. Visions occur in the mind of the prophet or individual who experienced it. If a prophet has a vision of God as a man and you want to take it literally, then why don't you take the other metaphorical things the vision literally as well? Choose the most logical and consistent method of understanding the Bible. The truth follows consistency. Contradiction is a sign of error and falsehood. Remember, Hosea chapter 12 verse 10 states, with the Almighty speaking, "And I have spoken unto the prophets, and I have multiplied visions, and by the hand of the prophets I use similes or metaphors." The third thing is related to the first of these three. A created thing can act as a representative of the Creator, whether the created thing is a human being, an angel, a burning bush, or something else. In such a case, the created thing may speak with the authority of the Creator while acting as his messenger. Even Moses is called Elohim, and Daharon is said to be his prophet. You can find this in Exodus chapter 7, verse 1. The word like or as is added in the translations, but not in the Hebrew. This is why you may find it in brackets or in italics. The pillar of fire and the pillar of cloud that led the Israelites through the desert of Egypt are at times referred to as the Lord. You can find this in Numbers chapter 14, verse 14, and Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 4. At other times, the pillar of cloud and the pillar of fire are referred to as a malach, a messenger, or an angel. We find this in Exodus chapter 14, verse 19. If the pillar of cloud or the pillar of fire is actually God, then how could God have said to the Israelites in Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 15, that they didn't see any form of God in the desert when he spoke to them from the fire? Clearly he is teaching them that even though the fire has been referred to as the Lord, nonetheless the fire is not a form of God. The use of the phrases such as face to face or eye to eye in the verses that express the communication or revelation of the Almighty towards the prophets, the Israelites or Moses, is simply a metaphorical way of expressing how overwhelmingly blatant the truth of the Lord's existence was perceived, and how clearly his instruction, the Torah, was revealed at that specific point in time. As stated, these manifestations are also called malach, messenger or angel. How could they be called malach, messenger, if they were in fact God? We find in Isaiah chapter 4, verse 5, that it is clearly stated that this fire and cloud are created. Besides, a messenger does not send itself. If a messenger sends itself, it is no longer merely a conveyor of the message, but the one sending the message. It would then be the originator of the message. If the pillar of fire and the pillar of cloud were literally, physically God, then there wouldn't be indications to the contrary. Remember, seeking the most consistent way of understanding a thing is that which will lead to the most verifiable and accurate and stable understanding of the matter. When we have contradictions and inconsistencies, this is indicative of error and falsehood. If one wants to say that the human being or the angelic creature who speaks as a messenger of the Creator were literally physically God, then why would we say anything differently concerning the burning bush or any of the other revelations of God? But the Israelites did not go from the creation worshipping idolatry of the Egyptians to an idolatry of worshipping a cloud god, a fire god, a burning bush god, or any other kind of man god. Don't be ignorant of the fact that among the various idolatrous beliefs of the Egyptians was that their Pharaoh was in fact man and deity united in one human form. Also, among their cattle, one of their most beloved objects of worship was the lamb. This is why the Egyptians hated shepherds, as stated in the book of Exodus. This is why the Hebrews had to make sacrifices distant from the Egyptians, and why the Hebrews had to slay a lamb to be saved. By slaughtering the lamb, the Hebrews merited deliverance from slavery. Why? Their faith in the unity of the Almighty Creator and rejection of idolatry reached such a level that it was able to be publicly expressed by the killing of the Passover lamb, a historical symbol of Egyptian idolatry, not of God. Here you can see in Exodus chapter 8, verse 25 through 27, where it is called the abomination of the Egyptians.